Chapter 4. A New Life in Constantinople. When she finally arrived in Constantinople, Theodora found her old friends still working as actors. One of them, Macedonia, found her a job and a place to live. Theodora would spin wool and live with Macedonia near one of the imperial palaces. The room was bare, but it had everything Theodora needed. One afternoon, Macedonia confided to Theodora that she had a special job. She was not simply an actor. She was a spy for the emperor. She spied on the people who asked her to come to act at their houses. She used her job to bring important information back to the emperor, Justin. Theodora became good at spinning wool. She was able to look out her window onto the street while she was spinning. One day, Theodora heard soldiers riding by her house. The soldiers in the middle of the group was tall and commanding, and Theodora thought he was very handsome. She stopped spinning and leaned out the window so that she could see him better. She watched as he rode with his men. She knew he must be their leader. Every afternoon at the same time, she saw this man lead his soldiers past the house. One day, the men rode by while she and Macedonia were both in the room. "Who is that man?" Theodora asked. "He is Emperor Justin's nephew, an adopted son," Macedonia told her. When he came to the city, his name was Peter, but he changed it to the royal-sounding Justinian, after his uncle, the emperor. He will be the next ruler after Emperor Justin. "Do you know him?" Theodora asked her. "Of course I do. Why do you want to know?" Macedonia smiled as she saw Theodora blush. "No reason. It's just that I see him every day and wanted to know. That's all." Theodora couldn't hide her red face from her friend. Macedonia decided that the next time she was at the palace bringing information to Emperor Justin, she would invite Justinian to dinner so Theodora could meet him. Justinian and his men came to dinner the following week. When Macedonia introduced Justinian to Theodora, he was immediately struck by her beauty. During dinner, they talked about the many subjects that interested them both: art and law, entertainment and government. Macedonia attended to the rest of the guests, while Justinian and Theodora talked for hours. He realized that this woman had not only beauty, but also intelligence and common sense. That meeting was the first of many for Theodora and Justinian. As often as he could, Justinian came to visit at the little house near the palace. He loved to hear Theodora talk. Soon, Justinian fell in love with Theodora. Justinian knew that Theodora had been an actor. He wanted to marry her, but he also knew that it was still illegal for actors to marry government officials. Even though Theodora was no longer an actor, the law would prevent her from becoming his wife. Justinian appealed to Emperor Justin, the uncle who had adopted him. He begged the emperor to change the law, but Emperor Justin wavered. He enjoyed talking with the beautiful, intelligent Theodora almost as much as Justinian did. She had a sharp mind and a witty tongue, but the problem was Emperor Justin's wife and Justinian's stepmother, Empress Euphemia. She didn't want Justinian to marry Theodora. She wanted him to marry a princess or a noblewoman instead. Justinian begged his stepmother again and again to change her mind. He couldn't imagine that she would continue to refuse him, but she did. One day, as he was arguing his case with her, she turned to him. "Justinian, I want the best for you," she said. "I will continue to forbid you to marry this woman as long as I live. When I am dead, then you may marry Theodora. Until then, please do not ask again." Justinian still loved Theodora, but it seemed he would have to wait to marry her. Justinian didn't know it, but his beloved mother was already ill. Later that year, she died. Not long after her death, Emperor Justin changed the old Roman law and gave his permission for the couple to marry. They planned a wedding to be held in the Church of Holy Wisdom, Constantinople's greatest church. Theodora was 24 years old. Now she would be the next Empress of Byzantium.